From the Newstalk ZB newsroom, this is Newsfix.
In this update, the Ombudsman says the Education Ministry's made unreasonable omissions in its New Zealand Sign Language in Education strategy. Deaf Aotearoa says the ministry's failing to provide adequate education for deaf children through NZSL. Chief Executive Lachlan Keating says for many decades, deaf children have not had the same educational opportunities as hearing children.
We need to see more teachers who are fluent in NZSL. Certainly we want to prioritise more deaf teachers who are fluent in NZSL and qualified teachers.
The ministry accepts the recommendations and will now work to advance the development of sign language in education. Brian Tamaki's Freedom and Rights Coalition's been protesting around the country today, calling on the Prime Minister to allow the ACT Party's treaty referendum. A couple of hundred people turned up to Auckland's Domain. There have also been protests in Wellington and Christchurch. Extinctions looming for one of New Zealand's rarest native species. A Department of Conservation report finds climate change and pests are major factors, with 43 types of our giant land snails now critical, the final status before extinction. DOC Science Advisor Kath Walker says these snails are one of a kind globally.
Most land snails are vegetarian. These are carnivorous. Most are very large and beautiful. They're an iconic part of New Zealand and as distinctively New Zealand as kiwis.
March is expected to be hotter and drier as El Niño eases back to neutral. NIWA forecasts above average heat and extended dry spells for most of the country, apart from irregular rainfall events. It says there will be heavy rain for the first week of March and potentially in the second half. But principal scientist Chris Brandolino says dry spells could still be a problem for Auckland, Northland and Bay of Plenty, and for the northern part of the South Island.
Probably more days at the beach, particularly early on in the autumn period, say in March, maybe even to early April. You may find more days where you need to run your fan or if you have the aircon to get that going.
That's news. In sport, the Black Caps are fighting hard against Australia in what would be a record successful run chase, should they pull it off, in the first cricket test in Wellington. Set 369 for the unlikely victory after bowling out Australia for 164 before tea on the third day, New Zealand was 43 for 2 moments ago. The All Blacks Rugby Sevens are not putting themselves under pressure to climb up the Men's World Series ladder as they head into the Los Angeles tournament in 4th place. Coach Thomas Ithama is focused on performance.
We can't look at the points to make us play better. We just need to understand why we are playing this game and who for, and go deep on there, and hopefully we'll start to put out some performance there.
The Chiefs Manawa have beaten the Hurricanes Poa 46-24 in the Super Rugby Opiki season opener in Hamilton. That's sport. I'm Joe Gilfillan.
For more news, listen to Newstalk ZB live on iHeartRadio.